The galaxy called humanity primitive. Then Earth moved. Not a ship, not a station. The entire planet. The aliens watched in disbelief as Mars and the Moon followed behind it. But humanity wasn't escaping. They were preparing for something the galaxy had never survived before. And whatever was coming was already hunting them. The first mistake the galaxy made was believing that a species could be measured by the machines it built. The second was believing humanity had nothing left to teach the stars. For nearly 3,000 years, the Galactic Council had maintained one simple rule. Civilizations were ranked by technological advancement. Those who mastered faster-than-light travel were considered developed. Those who could manipulate gravity were considered advanced. Those who could move entire planets were considered nearly divine. And those who still relied on chemical rockets, primitive fusion engines, and fragile metal ships were considered irrelevant. Earth belonged to the last category. It was a blue world at the edge of mapped space, surrounded by empty darkness and old stars. Humanity had reached the stars only recently. They had built their first interstellar ships barely 2 centuries ago. Their engines were slow. Their weapons were outdated. Their cities were still built on the surfaces of planets instead of suspended inside artificial gravity fields. And, most importantly, humans had never moved a world. The Council had. The Ve'ari had moved 12 moons. The Thalassian Dominion had relocated an entire gas giant. The ancient core had once dragged a dead planet across 6 light-years using gravitational chains. To the galaxy, moving a planet was a measurement of power. Humanity had never even attempted it. So when Earth's representative entered the grand chamber of the Council for the first time, no one stood. No one applauded. Some didn't even look up. Commander Elias Ward noticed. He said nothing. The chamber was enormous. Its walls rose hundreds of meters into darkness, covered in thousands of glowing symbols representing the civilizations of the galaxy. At the center floated the Council ring. 9 species occupied its highest seats. The Ve'ari, the Thalassians, the Core, the Mir, the Solari, and 5 other civilizations whose names humanity had only recently learned. At the center sat High Chancellor Vaylor. He was Ve'ari, tall and silver-skinned, with 4 narrow eyes and a voice that seemed permanently tired. He looked down at Elias. Human representative. Commander Ward, you were asked to present your civilization's capabilities. Vaylor glanced at the holographic display. A list appeared. Human faster-than-light capability. Limited. Gravitational manipulation. Minimal. Planetary engineering. Developing. Military strength. Moderate. Energy production. Low by Council standards. The Chancellor sighed. You have traveled 8,000 light-years to tell us this. Elias remained calm. We traveled 8,000 light-years because you invited us. A few aliens laughed. Not loudly. They didn't need to. The insult was obvious. Vaylor leaned forward. Humanity is not being insulted. Commander, you are being evaluated. And the Chancellor looked at him. You are primitive. Silence followed. Elias stared at the ancient alien. Then he smiled. Compared to you? Yes. Then you're probably right. The laughter stopped. Vaylor narrowed his eyes. You accept the classification? No. Elias looked around the chamber. I accept the measurements. He pointed toward the holographic display. Your machines are bigger. Your ships are faster. Your weapons are stronger. He paused. But none of those things tell you what humanity is capable of. Vaylor almost smiled. Every species says that. Perhaps. Elias turned toward the Council. But you invited us here because something has frightened you. The chamber became silent. For the first time, several Council members looked directly at him. Elias continued. Something is approaching. The holographic display changed. A region of the galaxy appeared. Thousands of stars turned red. A dark wave moved between them. Not a fleet, not an army. Something larger, much larger. The Council already knew about it. For 70 years, the phenomenon had been spreading through the outer systems. Planets disappeared. Stars went dark. Civilizations stopped responding. The Council had named it the Hollow. No one knew what it was. No one knew where it came from. But everyone knew one thing. It was moving toward the center of the galaxy, and eventually it would reach Earth. Vaylor stood. We have mobilized 300 fleets. Elias nodded. I know. We have deployed gravity weapons. I know. We have evacuated 17 worlds. I know. Then why are you here? Elias looked at the enormous map. Because you are preparing to fight the Hollow. Vaylor's expression hardened. Yes. We aren't. That caused confusion. What? We're preparing to survive it. The council erupted into whispers. Vaylor raised one hand. Explain. Elias stepped toward the center of the chamber. Your civilizations are preparing to destroy the Hollow. We intend to. You can't. We have weapons capable of cracking planets. I know. Then you underestimate us. No. Elias looked directly into Vaylor's eyes. You misunderstand it. The chamber fell silent again. Elias brought up a second image. It was Earth, blue, small, ordinary. Then another image appeared. Mars. The moon, Europa, Titan. Hundreds of objects from a human solar system. The council watched as lines connected them. Vaylor frowned. What is this? Our evacuation plan. Evacuation? Yes. You intend to flee? Elias shook his head. No. He zoomed the image out. The solar system disappeared. Then the surrounding star systems disappeared. Then entire sectors vanished. Humanity had been building something, quietly, for decades, something the Council had never detected, a network, thousands of massive structures hidden inside asteroid fields, engines beneath moons, energy collectors around dying stars, gravity anchors buried inside planets. The Council stared. Vaylor's voice became quiet. What have you built? Elias looked at him. A way to move worlds. The chamber froze. One of the core delegates laughed. Not because it was funny, because he thought it was impossible. You. Elias nodded. Us. The core rose. Humanity cannot move a planet. Elias answered softly. Not yet. The delegate smiled. Then you have nothing. Elias looked toward the stars. We have something you don't. What? He turned back. Time. The council dismissed him that day. They believed humanity had finally revealed the limits of its primitive technology. They were wrong, because while the council was watching Earth ships, humanity had been building beneath their feet. And 3 days later, the first planet moved. The first warning came from the Vayari observation station above Sol. The station had been built specifically to monitor humanity. The Vayari expected to see primitive ships. Instead, they saw Earth disappear. Not explode, not vanish. Move. The planet shifted 3 meters. Then 12. Then 100. The observation station went into emergency alert. Planetary displacement detected. The operators stared at their instruments. Impossible. The Earth moved again. Slowly. Almost gently. The oceans rippled. The atmosphere trembled. Across the planet, millions of humans looked toward the sky. They had been warned. For 20 years, humanity had been building the planetary lifeline. It was not one machine. It was millions. Gravity anchors buried deep beneath continents. Energy stations orbiting the moon. Massive fusion engines hidden inside artificial asteroids. And beyond them, ships, thousands of them. They were not designed to fight. They were designed to push. The human plan had never been to overpower the galaxy. It had been to move what mattered. Earth, Mars, the moon, human colonies, archives, animals, seeds, history, everything humanity could carry. The Vayari commander watching from orbit could barely breathe. How? No one answered. The Earth moved again, 100 kilometers. Then another. The blue planet was leaving its orbit. Vaylor received the transmission personally. He watched her slide across the holographic map. His 4 eyes widened. They're moving the planet. The core delegate shook his head. They cannot. They are. That is impossible. Vaylor whispered. Apparently not. The council emergency session began immediately. For the first time in recorded history, every seat was occupied. The human representative appeared on the central display. Elias Ward looked exhausted. Behind him, alarms flashed. "Commander," Vaylor said. "Chancellor." "What are you doing?" "Leaving." "Where?" "Where the Hollow can't reach us." Vaylor stared at him. "You believe you can outrun it?" "No." Elias looked at the star map. "We're not outrunning it." He paused. "We're moving the road." No one spoke. Then the Hollow arrived. The outer worlds began disappearing, one after another. The Council fleets opened fire. Weapons that could shatter mountains struck the darkness. Nothing happened. The Hollow continued. A Vayari fleet vanished. Then a Thalassian fleet. Then 3 core worlds. The galaxy began to panic. Humanity kept moving. Earth accelerated. Slowly. Painfully. But it moved. Mars followed. The moon followed Earth. Then the human colonies. Entire worlds were being pulled from their stars. The Council watched in disbelief. But humanity wasn't simply fleeing. They were rescuing others. Elias transmitted another message. "Open your evacuation corridors." Vaylor stared. "What?" "Any civilization willing to follow us." "You would allow us onto your ships?" "Yes." "After we called you primitive?" Elias smiled faintly. "You were wrong." He looked toward the camera. "But that doesn't mean you have to die for it." That sentence spread through the galaxy. Within hours, refugees began moving toward human-controlled space. Vayari, Core, Thalassian, mere millions, then billions. Human ships accepted them. There was not enough room. So humans made room. Cargo bays became shelters. Factories became hospitals. Military ships became refugee transports. Human pilots flew through collapsing systems to rescue alien families they had never met. And slowly, something unexpected happened. The galaxy began to see humanity differently. Not as the strongest, not as the most advanced, but as a species that kept coming back. Every time a world fell, human ships returned. Every time a fleet disappeared, humans went looking. Every time another civilization asked for help, humanity answered. Then the Hollow reached the edge of Sol, and Earth stopped moving. Elias stood on the command deck. A warning appeared. Planetary engines overheating. Energy reserves critical. The Earth was exhausted. Mars was exhausted. The human fleet was exhausted. Behind them were billions of refugees. Ahead was empty space. And behind them, the darkness was coming. Elias looked at the stars. "We're out of time." An engineer approached. "Commander?" "Yes." "We found something." "What?" The engineer handed him a data tablet. "It isn't following us." Elias frowned. "What?" "The Hollow." The display showed its trajectory. The darkness had changed direction. It wasn't following Earth. It was following something else. Elias looked toward the center of the galaxy. Then he understood. The Hollow wasn't hunting planets. It was hunting energy. And humanity had just gathered the largest concentration of energy in one place. Earth, Mars, millions of ships, thousands of reactors, billions of lives. The Hollow had found them. Elias whispered one sentence. "We didn't escape." He looked at the approaching darkness. We became the target. The Hollow arrived without sound. No explosions. No warning. Just darkness. Stars disappeared. One by one. The human fleet formed a wall around the refugee worlds. Alien commanders watched. They expected humanity to run. Instead, the humans stopped. Elias stood aboard the flagship Horizon. Around him, thousands of ships waited. The Vayari fleet commander spoke over the channel. "Human commander, go ahead. You cannot defeat this." "I know." "Then retreat." Elias looked at the screen. Behind the fleet were billions of civilians. Children, families, entire civilizations. "If we retreat, they die." The Vayari commander was silent. "You would sacrifice yourselves?" Elias shook his head. "No." He looked toward Earth. "We're going to give them somewhere to stand." The human fleet began moving. Not backward, forward. Every ship deployed its engines. Every reactor opened. Every gravity anchor activated. Across space, enormous rings of energy appeared. The council watched in disbelief. What are they doing? No one knew. Then Earth began to rise. Not away, up. The planet lifted out of space. Its oceans rolled. Its continents trembled. The moon moved beside it. Mars followed. Humanity was no longer simply moving worlds. They were arranging them. Earth became the center. Mars moved into position. The moon became a shield. Then thousands of asteroids locked into formation, a planetary fortress. But it wasn't built to destroy the hollow. It was built to protect life. The hollow struck. The first wave hit the outer asteroid belt. Millions of tons of rock disappeared. The human fleet fired, not to destroy the darkness, to slow it. Every second mattered. The Vayari joined, then the core, then the Thalassians. One by one, the galaxy stood beside humanity. The Council had once called humans primitive. Now their fleets were flying behind human ships. The battle lasted 6 hours, then 12, then 20. Human ships began falling. Elias watched the casualty reports. He didn't speak. His first officer whispered, "Commander, I know. We're losing." Elias looked at Earth. "No, sir, we're buying time." "For what?" Elias smiled. "For humanity." Then the hollow broke through. It reached the outer defenses. The darkness touched Mars. The planet began to disappear. Elias closed his eyes. Then something happened. A human signal appeared across every communication channel. Not military, not an order, a song, a simple human melody, recorded by children, millions of them, refugee children, human children, alien children. Their voices joined together. They sang about home. The Vayari commander listened. He didn't understand all the words, but he understood the feeling. The galaxy was listening. Then the impossible happened. The hollow stopped. For 3 seconds. 5, 10. The darkness trembled. Elias opened his eyes. Why did it stop? The engineer stared at the instruments. It's reacting. To what? Life. The engineer looked at him. The hollow isn't consuming matter. What? It's consuming energy. Elias understood. Living systems produce energy. Yes. So... He stared at the darkness. It's feeding on us. No. The engineer shook his head. Not exactly. He enlarged the readings. It's changing. The hollow began to contract. Its massive shape became smaller, denser, more focused. Elias suddenly understood the real danger. It doesn't want Earth. He whispered. It wants a life on Earth. The hollow accelerated. Humanity had seconds. Elias turned toward the fleet. All ships. Every commander answered. Yes. Fall back. The alien commanders protested. Commander, do it. The human fleet withdrew. The hollow advanced. Earth stood alone. A blue world against an ocean of darkness. The council watched. Valor whispered. They're abandoning the planet. Elias appeared on every screen. No. He looked directly at the galaxy. We're moving it. The planetary engines ignited. Every reactor in the human system activated at once. Earth began to rise. But this time, humanity wasn't moving Earth away. They were moving Earth through the hollow. The galaxy had seen planets move. It had never seen a planet fight. Earth entered the darkness. The hollow surrounded it. For a moment, the blue planet disappeared. Every alien watching believed humanity had failed. Then Earth emerged. Behind it came Mars. Then the moon. Then hundreds of human colonies. The worlds moved together. Like a fleet, like a family. The hollow chased them. But something had changed. Humanity had discovered its weakness. The hollow could consume energy, but it could not understand sacrifice. It expected civilizations to protect themselves. Humanity did something different. They shared their energy. Every ship connected to another. Every reactor fed another. The strongest powered the weakest. The healthy carried the wounded. The rich colonies supplied the poor. The military protected civilians. The civilians maintained the military. Billions of lives became one system. The hollow attacked. Humanity endured. Then the alien civilizations joined them. Veari reactors connected. Core gravity engines joined. Thalassian energy stations synchronized. The galaxy began doing what humanity had done naturally, sharing. The hollow weakened. Vaylor finally understood. He opened a channel to Elias. You knew. Elias looked tired. Not at first. Then when I realized humanity survived its worst moments the same way. How? Elias looked at the countless ships around Earth. Together, the hollow struck again. The combined fleet pushed forward. Worlds moved. Stars became distant. Galaxies watched. And for the first time, the Council saw what human technology really was. It wasn't their engines. It wasn't their weapons. It wasn't their ability to move planets. It was their ability to cooperate when everything else was falling apart. The final battle began near an abandoned star. Humanity had moved the star system into a massive gravitational trap. The core built the field. The Veari powered it. The Thalassians stabilized it. Humans coordinated all of them. The hollow entered. Elias gave one command. Now. The galaxy activated every engine. Gravity bent. Light twisted. The hollow collapsed inward. For one terrifying moment, it seemed to win. Then the darkness cracked. A bright light emerged. The hollow wasn't destroyed. It was transformed. Its energy scattered into space. The stars returned. One by one. Across the galaxy, worlds came back online. Dead communication networks awakened. Lost civilizations emerged from shelters. And the darkness was gone. Silence followed. For several minutes, no one spoke. Then the Veari commander opened a channel. Commander Ward. Yes. We owe humanity a debt. Elias shook his head. No, but you saved us. So did you. We called you primitive. Elias smiled. You weren't the first. The commander looked toward Earth. What will you do now? Elias looked at the blue planet. We go home. The Veari commander laughed softly. After moving half the galaxy, Elias smiled. Home is still home. 6 months later, the Galactic Council changed its laws. The old civilization ranking system was abolished. No longer would species be measured solely by technological advancement. Instead, the Council created something new, the humanity standard. Not because humanity was the strongest. It wasn't. Not because humans possessed the most advanced technology. They didn't. But because every civilization had learned something during the Hollow Crisis. A civilization was not defined by how high it could climb. It was defined by how many it carried upward. The Council rebuilt its central chamber. At its center stood a monument, not to a king, not to a weapon, not to a planet. It showed a human hand reaching toward another hand. The second hand belonged to a Veari child. The inscription beneath it was simple. No world left behind. Commander Elias Ward returned to Earth quietly. No ceremony. No parade. He walked through a human city and watched people living ordinary lives. Children ran through streets. Families ate together. Ships crossed the sky. People complained about traffic. Someone was arguing with a vending machine. Elias smiled. After everything, Earth was still Earth. A woman approached him. You were there, weren't you? Elias looked at her. Where? Out there. She pointed toward the sky. The hollow. Elias nodded. She smiled. Thank you. He looked uncomfortable. You don't have to thank me. Why? Because I wasn't alone. She looked at him. What do you mean? Elias looked toward the horizon. When the galaxy needed saving, he said quietly, humanity didn't save it. He paused. The galaxy saved itself. The woman smiled. Because humans taught it how? Elias didn't answer. He simply walked away. Years passed. Humanity continued exploring. Not conquering. Not ruling. Exploring. The galaxy changed. Alien children learned human songs. Human schools taught alien history. Worlds once separated by war became trading partners. The Veari built memorials to human refugees. The Core began teaching cooperation in their academies. The Thalassians adopted a new saying. It became famous throughout the galaxy. When the impossible comes, ask the humans. And whenever a civilization faced disaster, humanity came, not because they were invincible. They weren't. Not because they never failed. They did. Not because they had the strongest ships. They didn't. They came because they understood something the galaxy had forgotten. Strength was not measured by what you could destroy. It was measured by what you could protect. Power was not the ability to stand above everyone else. It was the ability to lift someone who had fallen. And progress was not about reaching the stars alone. It was about making sure everyone could reach them. Years later, the Galactic Council asked Elias one final question. What makes humanity different? Elias was old by then. His hair had turned silver. His hand shook slightly. He looked through the council's enormous window. Beyond it were thousands of stars. Some human, some alien, all connected. He thought for a long time. Then he answered, "We don't know when we're supposed to give up." The council waited. Elias smiled. "Maybe that's our greatest weakness." He looked at the stars. "Or maybe," he said, "it's the reason we're still here." The chamber remained silent. Then the Veari chancellor stood. One by one, the other civilizations followed. Not because human beings demanded respect, not because humanity had conquered them, but because they had finally understood. The species they had once dismissed as primitive had accomplished something no machine could measure. Humanity had lifted worlds, but the worlds were never the greatest thing they lifted. They lifted civilizations. They lifted strangers. They lifted enemies. They lifted the frightened. They lifted the broken. And when the darkness came, they lifted each other. The galaxy would never again look at Earth and see a primitive world. It would see the place where the stars learned compassion. It would see the species that refused to leave anyone behind. And whenever the night grew dark across the galaxy, young alien children would look toward the stars and remember the blue planet that once stood against the impossible. They would remember the humans, the stubborn ones, the fragile ones, the reckless ones, the compassionate ones, the ones who had looked at an enemy larger than the galaxy itself, and instead of asking how to destroy it, asked who needed saving. And for the first time, the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. If this story moved you, subscribe for more human stories from the stars.